Here you remember.
It's real. She was my parents' neighbor for a long time.
Oh, Menopause.
Yeah, and then he went on council, and then I've been ever since. All right, it's
Military time?
5:30. As soon as I get the high sign, we're good. All right, we're going to call the February 7th, 2024 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. Ms. Blankenhorn, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Boucher.
Here.
Ms. Cunningham.
Here.
Mr. Percy.
Here.
Mrs. Simpson.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mrs. Arianata.
Here.
Mr. Eister. We have a quorum.
All right, I'm going to should we do the minutes first or the elections? First, yeah, first order, just for sake of, first order business is approval of the minutes from the November 1st, 2023 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. The minutes were previously sent out. I would entertain a motion regarding those minutes.
I move.
To approve the minutes as presented?
Yes.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Ms. Boucher seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, with that, the minutes from the November 1st, 2023 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting are approved as presented. The next item for business is election of the 2024 chair and vice chair. How do we do it?
However you want to do it.
Ask for nominations for the chair.
I'll ask for nominations for the chair.
I would like to nominate Michael Percy to serve as chair.
I second.
Don't all trip over yourself.
We just want to get it done.
All in favor, aye.
Is that a roll vote or is that an aye vote?
First it's a question.
Seconded?
What?
Bill did.
Like everybody but me?
Are there any other nominations for chair?
Chair.
I move that we close the nominations for chair.
The nominations are closed for chair. Ms. Blankenhorn, is that a roll vote? Yeah.
Yes.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. All right, the 2024 chair will continue to be myself. Next, I would entertain motion or nominations for vice chair.
I'll nominate Susie Simpson to be vice chair.
Second.
You and me.
Yeah, all right. Are there any other nominations regarding vice chair?
I move that we close nominations.
All right, nominations are closed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. With that, the vice chair for 2024 will be Susie Simpson. All right, so
How
moving.
come you're never this talkative when we have
It's
meetings?
time for me to go now.
All right.
You better.
So the first case before us is 2024-BZA-01668 North Sandusky Street, a variance for signage. Is there a proponent of the proposed variance request before us? Come up and be sworn in, whoever's going to speak. All right, there's a card. You'll need to be sworn in, so read the card for us.
My name is Rob Lair. My address is 225 West Sandusky Street in Fredericktown, Ohio. I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God, or under penalty of perjury.
All right, what are we trying to achieve today?
We're asking for a slight modification on the existing structure. I don't know if you, oh, I guess, yeah, right there you can see. The original signage included Yamato's logo emblazed on the brick. And to meet the standards of separation with their franchise, we need to cover or remove. We are asking for this modification to place the new Barada logo over that, rather than going to great length to strip the brick, try to repaint the building to match. So basically we're looking for a slight modification.
And just for clarification, the old was approved, didn't have to come before us because it fit the code at that time. Is that correct? And
It was
since-
approved under a different code.
Okay, so the new code would not allow the second sign. So really, we're asking for a variance on the size for the one and then the allowance of a second.
The one in the center has already been approved and installed. Just the one on the left
Okay.
was not able to be approved because the one in the center met
Code.
code and
Okay. So we're really approving a second sign that would put them over the max number of signs allowed on the front and then the total signage,
Yes.
square footage for the front. If I read that correctly, is that?
I'm not certain the new square footage, if that was reduced from the original Amato's wood-fired pizza. We were right at 101 square feet. With the new signage, we're at 69.4, and if you allowed the modification with this sign at 19.6, we would come in at 89 square feet versus, so we're dropping about 12 square feet.
As a total, okay.
Correct.
All right. All right, does anyone have any questions for him? Are there any additional proponents of the proposed variance request that would like to speak for us? All right, are there any opponents of the proposed variance request before us? Is there any written or verbal communication regarding the proposed variance request before us?
I had one property owner call when they received the notification mailer just to ask what it was about. I explained it to them and they said it wouldn't affect them, so they didn't have any concern. And I have the staff report.
Okay.
Dated February 6th, 2024 for case 2024 BZA 0668 North Sandusky Street, parcels 66-04937.000 and 66-04938.000. A request for a variance for signage has been submitted for 668 North Sandusky Street by Rob Layer of Impact Media for Jim and Cynthia Davis of CJ Holdings Company. The property is zoned GB General Business District. This zoning designation permits one wall sign for each 40 feet of linear wall at 1 square feet of sign area per 1 linear foot of building wall width. The front of the building at 668 North Sandusky Street is 69 feet wide. Code would allow for one sign up to 69 square feet. The applicant has requested a 69 square foot sign to be located on the front center of the building and a second sign measuring 19.6 square feet to be located on the front left of the building. The signage that was on the building was permitted under different zoning code regulations in April 2017.
All right. All right. All right. So we've got written and verbal. All right. I would entertain a motion regarding the proposed variance request.
I move that we accept the request as written or presented, I'm sorry.
All right. We have a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion amongst the board?
I just have one question. When they changed from Amatos to Barada, wouldn't that have not negated that old variance and they would have had to come over under the new variance?
There was no variance in the past. It was just approved under a different zoning code regulation.
Code,
Doesn't
okay.
fit.
Okay, I'm sorry,
okay.
okay.
Oh.
All right. No further discussion. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Blankenhorn, call the roll, please.
Ms. Boucher?
Yes.
Mr. Percy?
Yes.
Mrs. Simpson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Arianata?
Yes.
All right. With that, case 2024-BZ01 is approved as presented. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Next item before us, 2024-BZA-02, 1061 Coshocton Avenue, variance for signage. Is there a proponent of the proposed variance request before us? Please come up and be sworn in.
My name is Cal Mansour. I'm here to represent Wild Bills. Address is 11035 East 9 Mile Road. I affirm that testimony and to truthful to my best of my knowledge and ability to help, so help me God, under penalty and perjury.
All right. What are we trying to achieve?
We're trying to achieve a branding issue with Wild Bills at the location here. We're dealing with a mansard roof, and we're hoping today that we can get some sort of a variance or some clarification The ordinance has changed. I apologize, I don't have the information in front of me. I thought I had a complete package, but I don't. We're looking to do a sign on a mansard roof, which is not allowed anymore. I guess the ordinance has changed, but you have allowed it in the past. We do have a hardship with branding with Wild Bill's. And that's,
Well, I think the reason that we eliminated the signage on top of roofs is because we didn't want to continue to have them in our community, I think would be that. So I think that there is one out there now, but we don't have any others, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Ms. Blanco?
The one that he included in part of his submission was Long John Silver's, which is no longer in service.
So there,
So,
There is one, I believe, at the drive-through on Mount Vernon Avenue. Long's drive-through, I believe they have a roof sign.
that's pre
Yeah,
that's
it's
like
all-
pre-code.
code too.
That's, yeah,
Yes.
that's,
Yeah.
It's all
Okay.
well before my time with the city.
Okay. Yeah,
Sign
that's
here.
at least 15 years. So.
It's
Okay.
this one.
All right.
can I add one more thing? I'm sorry. I don't
That was the
know, again, I
approved.
apologize, I don't have the complete package, but I believe that they've recently purchased a property.
Okay.
And if they were to remodel the facade all the way around that, would that still be an issue because we're no longer dealing with a mansard roof?
I mean, again, the code doesn't allow signs on the roof. If you were to change the building structure, then, I mean, this is kind of pointless. I mean, it would all depend on what, you'd have to do a new application based on the new parameters of the building. So, I mean, this is based on the current structure, so.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I did
that's-
some driving around in the area here. It's a beautiful city, by the way. I've never been here before. I didn't see too many buildings similar to this. I mean, it's not setting precedents. You know, the only issue we have here, the hardship is the branding because it's a national brand and that's what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I wouldn't even, I mean, that's just, I wouldn't call that a mansard roof either, but I mean, that's kind of a, I mean, mansard's got large sides and,
Well, it's got a pitch to it, so
Yeah.
we label anything with a pitch a mansard roof, so.
okay, well, yeah, mansard's like
Yes.
that,
yeah.
so, okay.
Why would the not approved signage that's already out there, why is that not going to work for you?
The street sign?
Yes, because that's what everybody has on Coshocton Avenue is a street sign.
And that's why,
Like that.
why we revised our code to try and get signs all uniform and we're hopefully we're working to get them to be all ground signs, which is what you guys have,
Sure.
so.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few buildings I mean, you know more than I do. You've driven down these streets more than I have, but, I mean, there's multiple signs in a lot of buildings there, quite a few of them. McDonald's right next door has,
And again, you can have multiple signs.
Sure.
Just, there's signs on the roof is not part of the code, and that's the exception that you're asking for is for a sign to be placed on the roof.
And some of those signs you see that are high or whatever were before we
Change the code.
changed code and stuff
Sure.
like that.
Sure.
So there are
Sure.
new rules that we follow.
sure, absolutely, absolutely.
Expressing
Right.
itself.
Yeah.
That's all it took.
Are there any other proponents of the proposed variance request before us? Does anyone have any additional questions of the applicant? Are there any opponents of the proposed variance request before us? Come on up, Mr. Hillier. I can't call you Councilman Hillier, I have to call you Mr. Hillier.
Didn't have to before.
Yeah,
My name is Michael P. Hillier. My address is 215 East Sugar. I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God, or under penalty of perjury. I'm just here as a resident, lifelong resident, and I think you're leaning that way, but that does not fit. There's a beautiful, perfect sign sitting right down where it's supposed to be on the ground that works. The only thing close to it, right, is Long John Silver's, and hopefully in time, council and the city does what it should do, and it'll be down, building and all. There's no way that should ever happen. There's a sign there that's been used, it still can be used, and I appreciate you listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hillier. Are there any other opponents of the proposed variance request before us? Is there any written or verbal communication regarding the proposed variance request?
Just the staff
All
report.
right.
February 6th, 2024, case 2024 BZA-02, 1061 Coshocton Avenue, parcel 66-07525.000. A request for a variance for signage has been submitted for 1061 Coshocton Avenue by Cal Mansour of Sign Emporium, Inc. for Wild Bill's Tobacco. The property is zoned GB General Business District. This zoning designation permits one wall sign for each 40 feet of linear wall at 1 square feet of sign area per 1 linear foot of building wall width. Roof signs are prohibited. The request is for a 40 square foot sign to be placed on the front roof of the existing 30-foot wide building and a 40 square foot sign to be placed on the west side roof of the 60-foot long side of the building. The site has an existing 50 square foot ground sign.
All right. Does anyone have any additional questions? Discussion? All right, I would entertain a motion regarding the proposed variance request.
I would move that the variance requested be approved.
And there's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Who was that, Tanya?
Oh, second.
Sorry,
Sorry.
I just didn't know who it was. I'm just making. All right. Any discussion amongst the board? Ms. Blankenhorn?
Ms. Boucher,
No.
Ms. Cunningham,
No.
Mr. Percy,
No.
Mrs. Simpson,
No.
Mr. Smith.
No.
All right, with that, 2024-BZA-02 is denied as applied.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional business before us, Ms. Blankenhorn? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Ms. Cunningham, Ms. Boucher, thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you for your.
Go for drinks. Anybody want to go for drinks?
I have to go buy pigs.
Oh, that sounds
I
like.
have to go make dinner.
That sounds like
If
way
I would
more
have known
fun.
before.
That's all right. I just,
I'm doing dry February.
Well, if I drink, I'll spend too much money.
why?
Because the pig I almost bought last night.